cases where we, the leaders, don't even manage expectations of our people, and we take it to a level of a win. Yeah. So there are those areas which have already been identified as hotspots, given the kind of stakes and given the nature and the personalities involved.
And some of those were peaceful. Wemiaga, there was heavy deployment, but it turned out to be peaceful, apparently, from what we know.
Yeah,
in the assembly where Honorable Seshkua, my friend, comes from, remarkably. Mr. Kalinga, who's going to take parliament?
No, that is. I don't want to speculate.
You don't want to talk about it?
I would like to talk about the real issues now. That you just done a sham election. That the chances.
I'll be able to comment on that.
The chances of rejection of results are very high.
Well, the IPC, your candidate, said he's not going to go to court.
And yes, of course, but there's a bigger court. He was talking about the courts of law that determine that you can vote without any identification in their wisdom. And I mean, it's the most absurd thing that has ever happened in a long time.
Up with the time.
But I think,
and we did answer. No, Mr. Sebal, please let me finish. You've been having a good time. Okay. You've been having good. I also came to the show. All right.
Go on, Mr. Kalim. You have the floor.
Actually, next time
I'm a Democrat.
Next time,
let him go.
Next time, if you think it's 1 hour, then you invite 2 people.
Go on, Mr.
I'm a Democrat.
Let him go on. Let's hear from him.
You don't come here not to say what you came to say.
Go on.
All right? Now, we are talking about a case of voting without identification. Nobody has answered the question, why are the voters' cards not there?
Well, I think that was discussed many times.
No, nobody's answering. Why was in the presentation with me by Malbauer, the German ambassador sitting across me and said, this is a credible company. They said we are delivering the voters' cards in November. This is May. November 30th.
Or maybe we won't go into that really.
No, we must go into this because why are 4 million people are not identified? That was the loophole. The
4 million people.
The court supported them. All right? And no one says, why don't we have cards? Did Milboa default on the contract?
Well, I think we've just discussed that in detail.
Did Uganda? No. Did the Uganda government not pay Milboa? Who is the defaulter? So the mess that could happen here is squarely on the decision of the courts to say you can walk in there and vote. It doesn't matter. All right? This is the bottom line. Why are there no voters' cards?
Well, maybe we'll have another chance to stress it. But
so the chance, you asked a question, the chances of accepting the results,
yes,
they have reduced tremendously. The chances of people... you had, if a full IPC president says, I won't go to court, suggesting that he's going to... You see, you delegate your powers to Parliament to legislate.
Yes.
You legislate your powers to the police.
You delegate your powers to...
You delegate your powers to the judiciary.
Right.
You know that kind of thing.
Yes.
To the executive. You say, you run the show. And you can recall that power. In cases of crisis, the people withdraw the power from the delegated authority. Not the delegate, they're the delegating authority.
Yes.
They take back the power. So this is what I think might happen if the results are not... Because the dispute is already there, and when the people say the courts have disappointed us, the executive has disappointed.
Okay.
The parliament has taken billions in open bribery.
All right. In the interest of time,
power back to themselves.
All right. Let's talk about something else.
And whether you have files of military police and members in Budadiri West, the one you were surprised about, the people are supreme. These are the children.
All right, I want us to avoid being alarmist. Let's talk about Honorable Sebal. I want us to really avoid that. These are very, very, very sensitive. Let's talk about the parliament. Who do you think is going to take parliament?
Yeah, I think that is a very important question. But before you do, I don't want us to be very unfair with some of these institutions.
Yes.
The court made a ruling based on the law, interpreting the law. And the law is quite clear that the voter card is not the only requirement, the only prerequisite. It is just one of them. So without it, you can't say everything is totally. It is one of the different aspects.
So that law is an exception. In the law, it's an exception.
Go on, 100%. Go on. You have the floor,
the other time I was.
No, I had to struggle for my space because I came here to say what I want to say, and 40 minutes went to you, right? I have to say something about that.
Go on, sir.
40 minutes went to Sebaru.
Go on.
And
let him go on.
We're sharing 20.
Go on.
So I think we need to, on this program, to appreciate these issues in perspective.
Right.
The court interpreted the law, and definitely voter card is one of the many, but not the exclusive one. So for him to say that court betrayed people, I think court did interpret the law and applied it appropriately. Now, regarding the winning of parliament, definitely the party that has sponsored candidates in all constituencies is the NRM.
Yes.
And there is no doubt whatsoever, as a single party, it's only the NRM that can win parliament with majority. And it is going to do so with majority. Because many of these other parties, even the IPC, when they go in parliament, they will be individual parties. So none of them can ever be a majority party in parliament. Even Vesige, even if you were to form government, it would be a minority government, given that they have less than 150 candidates for parliamentary.
Maybe would need an alliance.
So that one. And then the issue of accepting the results.
Yes.
Let's look at it from two perspectives. You know, it is part of democracy to accept and concede defeat.
Right.
But what I see emerging, and even the language and the tone, this aspect of saying, you know, the people withdraw the power. Which people are you talking about? What about those people that have voted for the majority government? Aren't they people? So when we are talking about people, let's look at it from the perspective of a democratic order. What I am saying is that whoever wins should win with dignity, and whoever loses should also be able to lose with dignity and accept the outcome of a democratic process that has involved everyone as a civic responsibility.
Mr. Opio, we have this phenomenon of the independence. I was joking with myself. I was having a dialogue with myself, and I was joking that if this independence, because we have more independent candidates, if they went into parliament, Mr. Lubega, realistically, would have a big number of members of parliament.
No, I think
I know it's certainly unconnected.
Each one is on their own.
Yeah,
I know, absolutely.
So they don't have an ideological convergence.
Absolutely, I'm saying maybe, you know, but that's the thing I want to bring about. Independence, there are many of them in parliament. What does that mean? Shall we have half of parliament taken by independents and maybe half of the other half taken by NRM and so?
You see, before I respond to that question, let me just make a brief remark about what you just witnessed between the two supporters of the two parties. Now, what you're hearing is just a preview of what is going to follow the election, and it should speak volumes about the extreme ends of the table.
What we just saw across the table,
in which these parties sit. That one is totally, upset about the process and thinks that the process is a sham, and the other thinks that the process is fairly, it's fair. It's fairly peaceful. So I think that's a preview. That's what you must prepare for as a country post-election, and all of this has been caused by the sheer incompetence of the Electoral Commission. This was raised in court by many people about the voter roll, about voter identification, and it has gone unaddressed. So I think the Electoral Commission is once again on the spot and will determine whether this country goes back to violence or not.
But that the Electoral Commission will determine whether this country goes back.
Yes.
What do you mean?
I think the conduct of the Electoral Commission pre-polling day has been questioned by many people.
Right.
About compilation of the voter roll, about issues of voter IDs, all of that. Now, with that in mind, what they will do after 5 o'clock today, in the way they compile results, in the way they pronounce results, in the way results are transmitted, in the way they accept false or actually deny them, is very crucial. And if that is not handled properly, there is a high chance that it might lead to something very bad for this country. But you asked me about independence. Let me go back to that. The question of independence, as Honorable Mike just said, that independents are on their own. One person is a party of his own.
Absolutely
they cannot converge to have. But just like in the last parliament, my sense is that we are going to have more independent MPs than some parties. Even perhaps.
You think that's a real possibility? Because NRM is the biggest party. It has the majority right now.
I think it is.
You think we could have more independence than NRM?
believe me, the biggest independents are disgruntled NRM members of parliament.
Yes.
People who fell out with the establishment because of the fraud primaries that they conducted. So, in a sense, the independents are actually NRM-leaning independents in terms of numbers. I mean, if you go across the country, the NRM-leaning independents are more than other parties' independents.
Do you think they will be so angry as to lean towards another side rather than the NRM?
I don't think that's going to be the case. You're going to have people, again, signing MOUs with the NRM if it wins elections.
Right.
Because, I mean, they have the resources.
When it wins.
If it wins elections. I believe that the elections are still...
Mr. Chibuli is just to give us...
Anybody else can still win it. So, if the NRM wins elections, you're going to see independents signing MOUs with the NRM like they've done in the past, purely because of selfish interest, really, not because of ideological leanings and stuff like that. So that's going to occur. But I think that independents are going to increase in numbers in parliament and will exceed other parties. Now, how that will play in parliament,
their own party.
They will abandon their own parties.
They could abandon their own party.
Yeah, they will. But also, more importantly, the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case of the 70 MPs.
It might make it difficult for them to lean towards any party.
Yeah, it's a very useful pointer in how the 9th Parliament will actually turn out.
Right.
Will turn out.
Okay, we have to end here. Very interesting discussion. We need maybe 2 hours or more to discuss it. We have to end here, though. Thank you very much indeed, our guest, Honorable Mike Ssebalu, member of the East African Parliament, also member of the NRM NEC, Mr. Nicholas Opio.
Maybe just before you wind up, just to make a brief last comment
very brief
on the question of accepting results.
Yes.
People must accept the results if they think that they lost in a free and fair election.
Yes.
If you think that the process was unfair,
it's
you can go to court. You can go to court
and
let the court determine. The importance of going to court, even if you do not believe in the court, is that you have an avenue for exposing the rot in the system.
Okay.
The past petitions were very helpful in informing the process going forward. And I think that anybody who still feels disenfranchised or
should go to court.
Should go to court.
Right.
But the court is not the final court, because the courts exercise power on behalf of the people.
True.
If the people think that the court decisions are not good for them, they can use legal means to actually reclaim the power that they actually delegate.
What do you mean legal means?
I mean, the Constitution is very clear about people who have to protect the Constitution if it is being violated.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But it must be done violence-free, but in a manner that protects the law and observes public order.
Mr. Nicholas Opio, legal consultant with Actual, thank you for coming on the Spectrum. Mr. Omar Kalinge Nyago, head of research at the IPC Secretariat. Time is not enough to get deeper in this, but I must thank you too for listening. My name is Edmond Jizito, your host. We'll be back on Monday. Have a very blessed and peaceful weekend.